If you have spent any time in general hustle culture, you know that the hustle bros love to flash status symbols. Expensive watches, supercars, penthouse condos, luxurious vacations. In order to find any amount of success as a fiction writer, you need to have the same drive to succeed as someone who wants to enter the financial 1%. And yet, you won't have the mile markers of your first Rolex, your first supercar. It's going to take time and a lot of hard work before your writing makes you any money. If you continuously improve your abilities and you don't lose the war of attrition and give up, it will happen. But it's a long game. It's a marathon of marathons. So unlike paths that are easier to monetize, success won't give you usual status symbols early, or probably ever. Making a living at all is an incredibly lofty goal for a fiction writer. Being the top 1% isn't enough. You have to be the top 1% of the top 1%. But that doesn't mean the status symbols won't spring from your writing efforts. But before we get into that, we need to lay some groundwork. Why are we humans so status driven? The answer lies in our biology. It seems irrational from a happiness perspective, as comparing ourselves to others is the most guaranteed way to unhappiness. But our biology is for us to survive, not for us to be happy. We are social creatures, and we want to be higher up in the social order. Studies have shown that if two people from two cultures live the same comfortable but not wealthy life, the one from the culture with less wealth disparity will be happier. So this happiness is not born from comfort or from needs being taken care of. Those are the same in those two cases. It comes from not having as far up the social ladder to look. From a young age, we're all comparing ourselves against each other. We're competing. For decades before I found positive psychology, I just avoided things I wasn't good at because being good at things was so much a part of my identity. Competition or not, I was competing and I didn't want to lose. Of course, this is extremely irrational. You are only competing with yourself. We're all operating on different timelines. That in itself makes it impossible to measure yourself against someone else's progress. We all have different goals, different paths, and in such a fickle, shallow realm as status seeking, having flashy things is going to draw as much ire as not having them. And the people that they do impress will be fair weather friends. I'm not telling you anything new here. So, the first solution to dealing with the frustration of working so hard at something that is one of the worst ways to build impressive wealth is to work on yourself to stop being so concerned with impressing people. Meditate. Learn to catch your mind when it's drifting into irrational thoughts that make you unhappy. When you just identify yourself with your thoughts and let them go where they want to, they are going to lead to those dark places on a regular basis. Your spoken values are for creating powerful, beautiful works. That is what makes us happy and fulfilled. We are very lucky to have our passion be something that can actually do that. You just have to make sure that your subconscious mind agrees with those values. Everyone is trying to be happy, but we are all terrible at knowing what will make us happy. And when we catch what we think will make us happy, we're terrible at staying happy. Status symbols won't bring you happiness. A Lambo is not going to improve your mental health. These things are only going to move you along the hedonic treadmill, requiring you devote more and more of your precious life's energy to making more and more money to chase that high. Now, I'm not going to say money can't buy you happiness. Money can buy you physical well-being, and done right, it can free you from stress. If you know you can't afford to visit a specialist if you get sick, if your car breaks down regularly, disrupting your life, if you have bills that you can't pay, and even if you can pay your bills, but you know that one emergency will bring everything down, the stress of that, sapping your energy that you could put towards important things, will make you unhappy. Beyond reducing stress, money can buy you time in that it can keep you from having to eternally sell your time to get it. And with that time, you can do things that researchers have found lead to true happiness. Close relationships, family and friends. Remember, write, read, live. You can have the time to find and join a community of people who share your passion, who get the correct amount of excited at your progress, even if it isn't a big pile of cash, because they know how much effort it took to get there. A community in which you can cooperate instead of compete. 2, helping others. Few things make me feel better than looking back on charitable things I did in the past, and yet I don't make enough time to do those things. It's something that I want to work on, and it's something that I think almost everyone needs to work on, because right now it's so hard to do anything but try to move yourself forward. But besides like optimized charity and giving your money, you can look for small things you can do in your daily life, interactions with people in front of you that lift both of you up. 3 is gratitude, and I think it's really closely connected to doing good things, because the best way to feel gratitude is to help someone by giving them something that you already have, which renews your perspective on it. Number 4 is having something that you love doing, and money gets you the time to devote to that thing. Something that gives you purpose, something with tangible results. Remember, it's the middlemen who are the most miserable. Time after time, it's been shown that the people who are the unhappiest at work are the ones who have the least control over their performance and the least tangible proof of results. We are so lucky to have both. We are in total control of the quality of what we put out, of improving the quality of what we put out, and we can immediately see the results of our work. You want something that challenges you, but doesn't leave you wrecked, that puts you into a flow state. And that means constantly stretching yourself, reaching just a little bit further. People who regularly experience flow have been found in studies to be the happiest people. To me, it sounds like we're talking about writing. So give yourself as much time to be creative as you can. Save your best energy for your writing. That's why I like writing in the morning. I know that some people's brains work best in the evening when they get a second jolt of energy, but I know that when I write first thing, that my energy is going to the most important thing that I will do all day. Don't give that energy to someone who's going to give you a 3% yearly raise regardless. Put it on your calendar and treat it like you would any other appointment, because it's the most important appointment of your day. It's the one that leads to happiness. And the more of that energy you put into writing, the more money you'll make from it, allowing you to put more energy into your writing, and so on, creating a virtuous circle. So really focusing on these things that lead to true happiness, which you can probably see from the list is pretty much the exact opposite of striving for status symbols, is the real key. But I'm not going to pretend to have attained some sort of enlightenment. When you are feeling less than fully holy, when you can't avoid somebody who won't stop bragging about their cars or house or vacations, sometimes it's going to get to you. And in those moments, I think it's very important to keep your morale up by recognizing how impressive what you do as a fiction writer is. Writing a book is an extremely common goal. According to a survey done by USA Today, 82% of Americans want to write a book. For us, it's unfortunate that that's far more people than actually want to read books, but regardless of whether the person is a reader or not, what that means is that saying that you've written a few books is going to be a huge status symbol. Do not discount this. Internally, though, it also can be really hard to not chide yourself when you see people getting far more for far less effort. Most of the time, I can tell myself I'm on a mission, one that makes me fulfilled and happy, one that I am progressing at. But when I'm not feeling so self-actualized, the other thing that I can say is that I once had a #2 horror novel on Amazon, and that it would have been #1 if Stephen King hadn't had a new book coming out right then. Or when somebody asks me how many books I've written, it can actually take me a legitimate minute to calculate it up, and even then, I may still have to correct myself. I'm not saying it's healthy. It is bragging. Maybe it's something that you should do inside of your head a lot more than you do it outside of your head. But these things can be status symbols. You create things. Be proud of that. It seems to me that the people who need status symbols the most are the ones who don't make anything, who don't see the impact of what they do, and who don't have anything to show for all their efforts. And so they need to have an expensive watch to make it seem like what they do is worthwhile. That's not us. Even if that's what you do for your day job, you spend your best energy making something. Be proud of that, because the only way for you to fail as a writer is to give up. The war of attrition is what does writers in. And that can certainly be caused by a change in life circumstances, but it is also impacted by how we feel about what we are doing. And I just want to tell you that you should be proud of what you are accomplishing as a fiction writer. It is important that at least you internally recognize what you create to be as important as the status symbols that other people buy. They are putting their energy to buying watches and getting overwhelmed by mortgages, and you are putting your best energy into creating something very difficult. Is using your writing as a status symbol where you want to be on a daily basis, comparing yourself to others? That is quite literally the path to unhappiness. But you are going to find yourself there. And when you do, know that a finished book is the ultimate status symbol. In the times when you doubt yourself, I truly hope that that thought helps. This is something that I struggle with myself. So I'm not speaking from some sort of elevated position here at all. I know that it sounds like I was bragging. To some degree, you have to admit, it's weird because I feel like it's real. It's real that the value of my books is much higher than anything that I could buy. And yet it's still copium to say that it's a status symbol. Anyway, I'm in this with you. I would be really happy to hear in the comments about your strategies and your struggles. I've been really impressed with some insightful comments that have been coming through. And honestly, I think that both things, discussion of strategies and discussion of struggles, both help. Okay, I'm J. Allen Riker. Take it one day at a time. Write, read, live.